Hello everybody. It's been a little while since I've done an online reading for you all, and in the past I've done weekly Monday 11:11 readings, which I've had a few people reach out and say, can you do those again? But I'd like to do something that's more manageable for me, and I thought that maybe a monthly spread looking at the energies of the whole month ahead. And although it's not the start of October, I feel like since we've just had this huge full moon just yesterday, and the energy has been massive, and for a lot of people it's been very challenging. A lot of people I'm talking to are going through it right now. I, on the other hand, it's not that I'm going through my own processes, of course I am, but I've just completed a 7-month reprogramming journey of the Rainbow Serpent, which you may have heard me talk about. And it's a program I've been putting together to basically cleanse, purify, and just become a more open vessel so we can be able to bring in the new and anchor in our new pathways forward. So I'm currently in the process of about to journey on the lightning path of manifestation program, which I'm writing. So that's all really exciting stuff that's coming shortly. And in the meantime, I'm feeling really called to touch base again with you, to get back into my crystal channel mode. I really have missed this. I really enjoy connecting in with the elements, with the Devic kingdom, with the animals, the plants, the crystals, the natural world. I mean, this is where I really feel alive and recharged. And let's face it, the last few years have been big. We've all had to do what we needed to do. A lot of us have needed to retreat, which that's why I've taken a bit of a break from this platform, but I'm really happy to get back into it again. So I'm going to see how this goes, this format of doing a larger Tree of Life spread for the month of October. We're in October now. And then I will anticipate to, in future months as I'm doing this, also stay on at the end to pull some cards for those of you that are online, so we can be more in the live format like I used to. So that is going to be on Facebook. I don't know how to do that on Instagram yet. I'm really not tech savvy, but you know, I'm going to obviously link it over there. So both platforms, will have the similar information, but it's just easier to do the live readings. I feel like it brings me into more of a present of now, and it enables you to be here and we can engage. So that's just a really lovely format. So the only thing is it's going to be monthly rather than weekly. So it's a good start in the right direction. So right now I'm just going to get back into these old friends. Haven't been working with these cards for quite a long time. I'm just going to do a little shuffle and just starting to tune in to these energies of this month, which is, you know, for a lot of people who are interested in astrology, there's so many people now these days, so many more than like even 5 years ago, talking about the effects of all the cycles that we're moving through within the more cosmic planetary bodies. And, you know, I'm really interested to look at what's going on in the earth body, and, you know, being a bridge here, being able to bridge what's going on in the celestial bodies and the earthly bodies. So ultimately, you know, they are reflecting one another. So it's really great for us to get that forecast so we can not let it dictate our lives, but just know how we can work with the energies to support our movement through. Because as humans, that is our job, our divine birthright, is to be these conduits, is to be these bridges between heaven and earth. So the more we can understand and work with the cosmic and the earthly energies, the easier our life flows. So I'm wanting to get some insight for us all on this month ahead. So for those of you that are not familiar with a Tree of Life reading, essentially when we're looking at the Tree of Life, we're looking at the whole picture from the physical to all the way up to spirit, the soul that sits as the intermediary point, the masculine, the feminine, the emotional, the mental. We're looking at all of those parts that make up the whole. And the Tree of Life, although, you know, it does have some roots and connections in the Kabbalistic traditions, it actually is an ancient Atlantean technology, and it's also something that's kind of superimposed into all of creation. So it's not just in the planetary body, but also in our bodies. So when I'm looking at the cards, I'm also reading our bodies. So the more we are understanding our bodies, the more we can understand the outer world that is around too. And this reading is intended as a collective energy, just as on a planetary body, but also as I'm moving through and speaking about it, it might have some keys and codes for you personally, because ultimately we're just little bits of the microcosm that make up the macrocosm. So let's have a little look-see what we have here. And because I'm doing this in video format, I'm gonna move through quite swiftly because this is beautiful, because we want to cover a lot of ground. Okay, so what I'm looking for is general color frequencies, the colors that speak to me, but also looking at the placement, like what is where and why. And this is so poignant. This is spot on. This actually just feels really beautiful. But where to start? Let's go straight to it. I'm going to go straight to the roots of the tree. We're going to look at the physical, the what's happening right now. And we've got silver in that place. So silver is the stone that's connected with the moon and the lunar cycles. And we're in a full moon right now. And the moon is pulling all of our emotions. And no doubt you're feeling it. I'm certainly feeling it, whether we're feeling it for positive or negative, for good, for bad. Really, emotions are just emotions. They're designed to flow, and it only becomes a problem when they get backed up and when we're avoiding them and not wanting to feel them. So the more we can attune to the ebbs and flows of those lunar cycles, it kind of helps us to prepare for those times as they're arising, to have more compassion and self-understanding and less judgment for like, oh my God, I'm having a meltdown, or I'm not coping with this, as I'm not as well resourced to be able to cope with all the emotions that are going on. I mean, this is like the roots of the tree, right? We want water in the roots, but not too much. If we have too much water, too much emotion, it totally destabilizes us. So a lot of us might be feeling that destabilization of navigating the waters in our physical worlds. But that's to be expected, and so it's really good to just be graceful with yourself and to allow the ebbs and flows, because as we know, in a couple of weeks we're going down to new moon, less energetic pull around the emotions, so things will stabilize out. So if things are tough right now, just take a day at a time approach, knowing things are going to get easier. Be gentle. And it's interesting because the best crystalline frequency to work with overwhelm, stress, when things are just going too fast and you just need them to slow down, the best energy to work with is Jasper. And we have Jasper in our lower mental. So this is on the bottom two up from the roots. We've got the mental and the emotional. And Jasper is about slowing down the mind. All of that, I've got to do this, the cortisol producing freak out that, you wake up and you think, oh my God, I've got my list of things to do. Things are feeling overwhelming mentally. Our mind creates our reality. We know this. So the more scrambled we are mentally, the less we get done ultimately. So the more we slow down, the more we nurture and take care of ourselves, the more we can actually just allow the body to just go through its processes of healing. And it is a big time of healing. And I will talk about that when we get to it, but it's very obvious. I've got the presence of 3 green cards. Whenever the green frequency comes in on a body, it's like there is a healing process underway. So there's emotions at foot. The mind is very active and needs to just chill out and calm down. And obviously the red of the Jasper is also like having an infrared sauna if you can. It's, you know, having a barefooted walk in nature. It's just taking a nap if you need to. Just the things you need to do just to watch the mind, because the mind is what is going to keep things ticking over. And when we go over to the emotional body, we've got clear calcite. And interestingly, it is a stone of the universal mind, so it's a very mental crystal sitting in the emotional space. But what helps emotions is structure. So when you think of a river and how it flows, a river is held by the banks of a river. That's the structure, that's the earth that holds it. You know, we need a vessel, a cup to hold the tea. You know, we want the emotions to flow, but we don't want them spilling all over the joint. We need to have that containment. So creating that structure, if you see calcite grow, you know, it grows in these kind of rhombic shaped, kind of like a cube that's been tilted. So anywhere where you see crystalline structure that is very cubic or rhombic, it's about, you know, creating structure to help you feel safe enough to feel. This will support the emotional body. So on the mind, we just need to just settle down a bit and be in that nurtured, healing, almost like mothering energy of talking to ourselves as if you were talking to your own inner child in a very like nurturing, gentle, mothering way. But also simultaneously, we need to have a little bit of structure in place to assist, this is talking about universal frequencies, to assist the energies that are actually moving through us. The intention is not to blow the fuse, it's just our lifestyles and our way of being on the planet right now. We've got so much going on, our fuses get blown, our emotions go over the place. So, you know, we're wanting to keep that emotional and mental imbalance. So these two are the remedy for that. So as we go up the central trunk of the tree, the next one is our first healing crystal, which is malachite. And malachite is one of the most potent crystalline frequencies for dealing with pain, but also dealing with emotional baggage or clutter or stagnation, or it's almost like it's almost like emotional constipation. Malachite is the clearer. Now it's interesting because this sits in the subconscious dream realm. This part of the tree is like the not conscious. This is below conscious, the subterranean of our where we hold our emotions that aren't processed. So to have malachite show up in this is where the moon would live. So each of these points on the tree of life is also a planetary body. So to be in this full moon and have our moon crystal being malachite, which is the one that clears, is showing us there are things that we're not necessarily always seeing, or we've pushed under the carpet, or maybe it's childhood stuff that is being reactivated. It's time to release that now. And it's really cool because here in the Southern Hemisphere, we are in springtime. It's a great time for a spring clean, for a spring cleanse. And malachite, the plant that connects in with this frequency is lemon. So really a good time to be having those warm lemon waters in the morning, because the astringency of lemon is kind of like, it's a really great cleaning product. If you've ever used a lemon skin for cleaning a dirty pot, you know, it's the citric acid is what really gets in and gets the tough stains or the tough grit and the grease out. So this essential kind of intense cleaning product is inside our subconscious right now, or at least this is going to be the remedy, the support, the nurturing. So a great time to detox and cleanse. And if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, obviously you're in autumn, so you're in that nurturing, maybe eating warmer meals, taking it easy. You're not going to be doing the big cleansing and cleaning out that perhaps we're doing in the South. You're going to be gathering in, getting all your, like a little squirrel, getting all your nuts in. But you can still be coming in and bringing your awareness into the dream space, into the subconscious, into those parts of self that want to be seen. Because let's face it, they're up right now. This malachite is not a gentle energy. This is not a, oh, when you're ready, we'll do a bit of clearing. This is a, we're doing it, like it or not. And if you don't initiate it, other factors will. And this has happened in so many ways I've seen with friends and family, that like when you don't initiate it yourself, it gets done for you. So the more we can work with the energy and go, okay, this is what's needed to happen this month. So let's help ourselves do that so it's less painful. And again, it's a great one for pain. So supporting the painful process of emotional, subconscious clearing. And really, again, I want to come back to the nurturing that's right beside it. This is intense. This is very nurturing. So there is support. It's like there is a support, and this is a gentle structure. So it's like universal frequencies are coming to support you while you move through the kind of the bowels of the earth stuff within your own being. And out there in the world, I mean, there is big stuff happening on the planet. I don't even need to mention what those things are. We're all aware of the big revealing of what's happening and all the yucky stuff that's going on. So yeah, we're wanting to look at that within our own bodies. So when we are looking at the Tree of Life, we're kind of working in 3 zones. So I've just run over the lower part, and you know, this is really seen as more the underworld or the inner world, those things which are perhaps a bit more hidden. But then once we go up to the central card, which is Boji stone, this is where we hit our soul consciousness. So this is in the light of the day, and this is the sun. This is what we see. This is tapping into our own soul path and the light of day, and what's being called right now through Boji stone. So for those of you that don't know, Boji stones come in pairs. There's a masculine and a feminine. So they are really about bringing balance to those parts of self. And the fact that it's in the central channel, like Boji stone normally is at home right at the crown, because you know, we've got the crown and the masculine and the feminine. This is sort of holds it in balance. But this energy is being brought right into the heart of the situation. And the heart of the situation is we need to balance ourselves. We need to come back into alignment, and we need to clear what is no longer serving us, or transform those things that are needing reviewing in our lives. And perhaps it's not chucking the baby out with the bathwater. It's not necessarily a massive overhaul. Perhaps it's just a review on like, okay, this situation is becoming painful. It's not working that well. How can we reshape this in the light of consciousness, where things feel more aligned, feel more equal, feel more balanced, honoring both the mental, the emotional, the masculine, the feminine? Like, how can we sit in that center place within our own hearts? This is essentially like the heart center. So I'm really loving that Boji stone is showing up here. Excuse me. So in this central world, you know, when we're looking at the world, as I mentioned, we had the inner world or the underworld, and this is the central light of day world where we're walking around in our world. So we're wanting to elevate our emotional body and our mental body to a higher perspective that we bring our consciousness to, and we're elevating. So we're going to look now at the highest expression of our mental body and the highest expression of our emotional body, and what frequencies are going to support that. So when looking at the mental body, the lower mental, the monkey mind, the bit that runs around, just needs to chill out with the good old red jasper. But the highest, we can bring a higher frequency to that with the light of day in our world through the energy of pearl. Now, pearl is a beautiful frequency, a very gentle and feminine frequency. So, you know, normally we associate the mind as being, I guess, more of a perhaps even more of a directive, action-based function within the body. Whereas pearl is very lunar. It's interesting that we've got both silver and pearl, which are very feminine, very connected to the moon. So the purity that is spoken of in the energy of the pearl and connection to the waters and the oceans, because we find pearls and shells in the ocean, is about how we can bring our mind to a place where we might be aware of the things that irritate us, that piss us off, that agitate us, because actually the formation of pearls is through agitation, irritation of little grains of sand pissing off that little shellfish in its shell. And the formation of the pearl is to, like, how do we be aware of what pisses us off, be aware of what agitates us, but how do we make something beautiful from stopping that rubbing and irritation and friction? It's like that's a calcification that happens within the pearl, but ultimately it creates something very valuable and beautiful. So in our own mental process, how can we approach those things that irritate us in a more gentle, feminine, receptive way of being like, okay, how can I change my perspective that is more supportive of, I'm going to say, the inner child here, because really this is the energy that really connects with the youthful stages of feminine growth. So, you know, we're all sort of calling in more of a flowing and feminine way of approaching the world, and that is the remedy for the mind that can be very like hard, black and white, masculine perspective, and more of a like, that's right, that's wrong, this is how it has to happen. What if we can actually elevate our consciousness to a point where we're aware of the irritation, but we're just taking the response in a way to, how can I deal with this in a way that's going to minimize stress and also create something beautiful from the outcome. So I hope that resonates with you and makes sense. On the other hand, on the other side of the tree, the highest expression of the emotional body is turquoise. And I always love seeing turquoise because, especially in these times of great upheaval, when there's so much going on planet Earth, you know, this is the spirit of the earth, and you can see that beautiful picture of earth there, and the beautiful green healing frequencies, and the aquamarine or the turquoise blue there, which really is bringing in a lot of new coded frequencies of light. You know, we are really, this is showing me that the emotional body, which is pretty much like when we're working with crystals, we're working with emotional medicine. The emotional body is wanting an upgrade to be able to envision a new earth, a new way, a way we can live more harmoniously, the way we can live more in peace, in respect for our differences, and you know, also the way we can live in our own unique expression. You know, turquoise is an expression stone, so this is about, how do we express ourselves emotionally in a way that is true to our soul essence, but also in a way that elevates the world around us? And, you know, turquoise and the frequency of the earth is a lot to do with singing, and singing is sort of like the highest offering of sound that we can offer out into the world. You know, words are very potent, and when we sing, it's just adding a whole nother element. And I'm not saying we're all singers out there, but I just wanted to mention that because it has a very sweet frequency. So to have this in the emotional expression is actually a call to something higher, a call to a sweeter expression, maybe the way that we express our emotions in a way that's more harmonized, in a way that can be more of an offering of sweetness rather than harshness, or we want to be able to allow those emotions to be expressed in a unique way that feels truthful and aligned. But also, this is a great remedy for health and general well-being, especially around the immune system. So for those of you out there that are struggling with your health, with your well-being, I know a lot of people who've been traveling have picked up some nasty lurgies on the plane. There's lots moving through, big health journeys underfoot for pretty much everyone I know, myself included. Like I've been working with my own management of energy, like how can I be in alignment with my work without feeling like I'm burning myself out. There's a lot of management and reassessment of energy for health and well-being, and a lot of that means slowing down, and a lot of that means doing less than we think that we need to do. And there is a fear that kicks in that you're going to get behind, or you're going to have less money, or etc., 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 all the stories. But actually, the more we come into resonance with the earth and make space for a new way, because both of these, the higher mental and the higher emotional, are both very feminine energies, as far as like we've got this oceanic pearl frequency and the beautiful energies of the earth that are really calling us into those alignments within ourselves for greater health and well-being. If our emotional bodies are stagnant, stuck, and don't have pathways of expression, if we can't communicate what we're going through, there is like toxicity that's happening on a cellular level, which leads to immunocompromisation. So, we really need just to support our health big time. I'm feeling a big health orientated energy here. So along with the green frequency I'm seeing in this overall spread, I am seeing a lot of the blue. We've got the sort of pearlescent blue of the oceans in the higher mental, as I said, the blue of the higher emotional. And we also have in the divine feminine area, blue lace. I'll come back to that. And also Larimar. So we've got lots of blues going on and lots of greens. So far we've worked with the lower and inner and the middle, and now we're going to go anything up above this level is actually more on a cosmic level. It's more on the level of spirit. It's more on the higher levels of self. And before I go on to the masculine feminine dance within our own bodies, within the planetary grid, I want to go straight into spirit, because really what's happening at the very top, what's happening from spirit and making its way down through the soul, through the subconscious, into the earth, through the roots, that really informs the whole movement down through the body. And we have one of our primary healing crystals, Dioptase, which is actually about the healing heart. So big heart energy is on the line right now for all of us, but not just on a physical, personal, relational levels, but on a big global, global social level. It's big. This is really about dealing with grief. This is about dealing with traumas, with breakups, a broken heart. I don't know how many breakups I have heard about in the last week. Relationships fracturing, whether that be in family systems, whether they be romantic relationships, business partnerships, but also like the collective trauma and grief of what's happening to the people of the earth, you know, in those areas that are really going through it right now, but all over the world. You know, there is a collective call for healing of our broken hearts. And, you know, the grief process is real. You know, a lot of us have been moving through that for a long time. I mean, I don't think it's possible to be on planet Earth without experiencing grief in one way or another. But I remember someone telling me the thing about grief is it's not that it ever really leaves you, but it's just that your heart expands, is broken and expands big enough to be able to hold the grief. So essentially, through experiencing such hardship, traumas and horrendous experiences in our own personal lives, but also on a planetary level, we are being cracked open. And this cracking open has to happen or we literally implode. Like the pain is real, but the healing of knitting those parts back together, those fragments, really is done so in a way in an expanded way. Like our capacity to hold more is really so much greater when we're really just moving through these deep processes of grief. So just be really gentle with yourself and know that you're not alone, that you're not doing this just by yourself. And I pray and hope that you're not experiencing that, but it's just in the collective right now. So we've got this big healing green frequency coming down into the soul, which is asking us to balance, to come back into alignment, to clear all the things that are not true for us anymore, to really do the inner work. This is the inner subconscious through the Malachite, and to really attune to our emotional body. It's our emotions that are like block the pipes. You know, there's big emotions here. There's big lunar energies in this spread. And I know it's influenced by the moon because I'm doing this right in this Aries full moon. And I think today it's some alignment with Chiron. So, you know, it's all about those parts of self that were swept under the carpet for maybe a lifetime that is being activated. So go gently and know that this is part of the process. So let's go into the last two before we finish off the tree and then look at what the future holds moving forward. So we've looked at the mental and the emotional, we've looked at the central channel. I now want to look at the masculine and feminine aspects. So we have another green card and another blue card. So we've got Jade in the masculine place and blue lace agate in the feminine place. So Jade is the realm of dreams. This is the place where, again, it has a deep connection with the subconscious and the dream realms and the lunar energies. But really it's about doing the inner work. So on some level, it's like being asked to, and when I say the inner work, I'm just meaning the introspection, but in a way that is bringing more alignment, heart-centered living, healing. I mean, just the green frequency is about coming back into alignment. It's about healing. It's about prosperity. It's about abundance. I mean, jade has been used in China for many years and countries all over the world, but especially for fertility, for abundance, for bringing in more prosperity. So this is what is being called for. The masculine energetic within each and every one of us, whether you're male or female, is wanting to be empowered through the process of bringing more wealth, more abundance, more fertility, more like that juicy nature of the green of thriving. We're wanting to bring in thriving, health and wellness, but it needs to happen from inside. So it is a dream master. Jade is the frequency that we are tapping into when we're wanting to manifest or create something in our world or affect change. We need to really, it's an inside job. We need to work from the inside out. So, you know, whether you're into your dreams or not, like often our dreams will give us insights and things that we need to work on or look into or reflect on. And if you're not a dreamer, don't worry. it basically is like a subconscious thing. So you can access it through hypnotherapy, through any kinds of therapy, somatic, especially somatic therapy. So the body is equivalent to the subconscious. Our body stores it all. So ultimate health and vitality requires doing the work from the inside, looking at the body on the physical, but also the metaphysical. So if you have a good practitioner, it's time for body work, it's time for healing. And this is that masculine side that might say, I'm all right, soldier on, we'll be right, mate. You know, like that works for so long until it doesn't work. And there's a call for the deep healing. So if you are really struggling, get support. There's no shame in it. And you know, I know it's expensive, it's hard sometimes to be able to nourish yourself in the ways that you want to, but I assure you there is always a way. There is always a way to find support, whether there are groups out there that are doing, like often there'll be different availabilities to you. If you have the true intention of healing and the true intention of wanting to come into greater alignment, if you seek, you shall find. So don't let money be the stop for doing this work, because money, this is a prosperity crystal, you know. This is the, you know, the jade trees and all the jade is about the abundance. It's about bringing that in. So the more we get our energy right, the money flows. Blue lace agate for the feminine space. So again, we've got the blues and the greens. I love all these oceanic kind of feelings. And blue lace agate is really connected with the waters and the waters of our body and the emotions in our body. So this is talking about also, it's one of those ones that cools heated emotions. And for the feminine within each and every one of us, we all have this principle within inside us. But you know, you might see this in your own relationships. You know, we can have the dam overflow where there is an explosion of anger, of frustration, and it comes out in all the wrong ways. So blue lace agate just really helps us to manage those really fiery, intense emotions. And so does larimar, which is right next to it. So that there's almost like this coming to a head of intensity. And I believe the astrology talks about this too, like how do we communicate? I mean, look at all of these blue crystals. This is the primary communication stone. This is both of these deal with heated emotions. So this is really about how do we express ourselves in a way that is calm and fluid, gets our point across without spraying someone, because that's not fair and it's not the way to do it. It's just having an explosion is really showing that you're not managing your energy, you're suppressing, and then it builds up and it bursts like a burst pipe. So, you know, if we're actually expressing boundaries, expressing our yeses and nos in a healthy way, it doesn't need to be dramatic. You know, it only becomes dramatic when we hold it in, and then we hurt people, and that's not what we want to do. So that's a real call out for the feminine parts within ourselves, and maybe just the whole principle of the feminine principle in itself, to just be more masterful in your emotional expression. Just because you have a monthly cycle and you have PMS doesn't give you the right to be nasty. And it's really hard to control sometimes. I know for all the women out there, it's tricky. But, you know, there's ways to work with it and bring a bit of consciousness into it as well. Like, we don't need to hurt the people around us who we love. So just wanted to speak to that. Okay, so this has been a big insight into the planetary energetics, but also what's going on in our personal lives. And last but not least, the 11th card is like the bridge. It's like, what are we moving to next? What is going to take us out of this grid into something higher, out of this tense, October is a tense month, you know, astrologically speaking, but it can also bring great healing, great opportunity to bring things to a head, to communicate, and restructuring of how we have expectations on ourselves to create in the world. And what comes next is Larimar. And you know the beautiful thing about Larimar is it's the first crystalline frequency in the whole cycle, and every New Year's Day is a Larimar day. Every time you have a birthday, it's your personal Larimar day. Larimar is actually all about beginning new cycles. So yes, we're in October, but it's going to be like November actually. By the end of October and start of November, we're going to be starting new wheels in motion, whole new projects, whole new outlooks, whole new it's fresh, it's new, it's brand new. It's you know, in the tarot this would relate to the Fool card, which is like chucking your knapsack on your back and setting out on an adventure without a care in the world, because you've dealt with your past, you've tied it all up in bows. So, you know, 2025, it was expected to be a big year, and it's a 9 year, and we've also had September was a 9-month frequency. So we're like doing heaps of completion cycles, heaps of like finishing old stuff off, dealing with the old unprocessed stuff. I mean, I've been doing that in my life massively. And at the same time, I'm also feeling the new coming. I'm feeling the Larimar frequencies calling me forward to say, there is a new path opening. You might not be ready to fully embark on that just in this second, but just as we're finishing off this year, the new frequencies are starting to overlay and the old ones are starting to kind of finalize off. And it's only going to be intense for us now if we've not been doing the work to tie up all the old loose ends and to wash our laundry and to, you know, clear out the stagnancy. So it's exciting. There's a new energy coming. We've got November, December, January. I mean, you know, they always want us to start the new year in January. It's never worked for me. It's always Christmas, New Year. It's too busy. How can you actually start anything at that time of year? But it's like, what if you saw this month as like getting things finalized so you could start projecting into the path you want to go on now or by the end of October. So November, you've got a roll on, and then by the time Christmas and all that happens, it doesn't take you too far off your path and you're not too confused trying to work it out by February. You've already started the momentum now. So I hope that's helpful for you guys. I hope you like this format of working with the tree. And next time I do this, so this is, I'm pre-recording this one just to get myself back in the swing, just to see if it's going to work and how long it's going to take. It looks like it's a 45-minute reading, and next month I'll do an hour slot. I think I can do that on Facebook Live, I'm hoping. So that means we can do like 10 minutes of readings for those of you who are online. So hopefully that works for you all. Love to get some feedback. Love to know if you like this format or if it's too long. I can't remember how long the other ones were I did, but let's see. Let me know. And I'm going to upload these on YouTube as well. So if you haven't followed my YouTube channel, go check out that. I'm starting to get that activated as well. Okay, lots of love to you all, and see you in November.